What's up, everybody? Happy 2025. It's Joe and Taylor coming to you live from fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada. Those of you listening to this as a podcast, thanks for tuning in. We get a couple hundred listens on each of our podcasts, so super grateful for you. Those of you watching it on YouTube, I've been accused, Taylor, lately of looking a lot younger because I no longer keep my beard, which is fun. Somebody said I looked 16 the other day, which was, I think, a compliment. I'm not totally sure. But so, Taylor, give everybody a recap of 2024. What was a highlight for you business-wise?
Well, I am excited to be here today talking about what's to come. And I think the only way we can accurately look at what's coming up and really get positioned to catapult and blast off is looking back. So 2024 was, man, it was a bit of a topsy-turvy year when it comes to the market and just all the different things that we had across the real estate world. I don't know that there's been anything like it in the last 20 years.
It's the worst.
You and I have been doing this for almost 20 years now. And that 2024 was probably, when it comes to retail real estate, even our investment stuff, it was probably the most difficult year that I can remember. Even looking at 2007, 2008, all the way through 2011, even those years weren't quite as difficult as last year was.
Well, and so I was talking to Porter about that. So some of you guys know Porter, my son, works on our investment team now, and he was like, so how's the real estate market? Like, how was 2024? And I'm like, dude, it's the hardest we ever had. And but in full disclosure, I think you and I were much more insulated and prepared for it because of the way we built our business structure. So like financially, 2024 was actually a good year for us. But from our real estate team side of things, it was the worst we've had because like when you go back to 2006 and 7, if I think about it, there was a clear path to victory. It just wasn't an easy path. Mm-hmm. You had to get short sales going. You had to get REO accounts. Like there were a few things you had to do to succeed. Where last year, it was like you were in this inclining interest rate environment. It was an election year. It was the most violent election year that I can ever remember. The economy sucked. It was like everything. And prices didn't drop, which thankfully prices didn't drop. But the complexity created by prices not dropping is last year was the least amount of transactions done. When I talk to anyone in the industry, they're like, dude, we've never had a worse year transaction volume wise. So yeah. I think that was unique. And because you and I have built our business the way we built it, we thrived. And so to give you guys an idea of what our business looks like, and Taylor and I've talked about this a lot from stage, but just to give you an idea. So I have two primary responsibilities. Running our team, or at least helping Angie run our team, and then running our real estate network at Real. So our team consists of about 10 full-time agents and probably like 30 part-time, kind of onesie-twosie deal agents. And then I'm also the office broker for our office, which we've got about 200 agents here. Our Real network currently comprises about 4,400 agents, 4,300 agents. And so like speaking, training, teaching, I'm going to Texas next week. And so I'm traveling a lot for that. Those are my two responsibilities. Taylor's primary responsibilities are investment business. So last year, Taylor, how many wholesale deals, flips, like how many units did we do on the investment side?
I think as far as, the wholesale, we did right around 50, and then we did another 20 houses that we liquidated. Some of them we purchased last year, some of them we purchased in 2023. And so on the investment front, we did 75 transactions, I think is where we ended.
And our goal was like 150, but then the market hit us in the face. Taylor's other responsibility is to oversee our joint venture relationships. So we do title, we do mortgage. We've got a small JV on insurance. We messed around with solar, hasn't necessarily gone great. So then having said that, Taylor, before we get into like the actual topic we're going to talk about in the next, 15, 20 minutes, 2025, like what are you excited about? What are you hyped on? What do you think is a great opportunity for us? Like what are your sights set on for 2024 or 2024?
Yeah, I think to quote the great Charlie Munger, one of the things he said was that challenges and problems are just opportunities and work clothes. So for me, 2024 was a challenge, but it's also an opportunity. It's our mantra around here has always been to fail fast and to learn faster. There were some parts of the business last year that we failed in. As far as profitability, it's very easy to get stuck in the transactions and volume and how many units closed and to forget about profits. So I think in 2024, there was a lot of success. I mean, we still did a lot of transactions, but our profitability was down. So for 2025, I am excited to look at expenses, put them under a magnifying glass, find out which ones we actually need, which ones are actually bringing money in, and cut everything else. I'm excited to look at the cost of each sale that we're doing and look at the commission structures, the splits, what we incentivize, and to figure out how we can make the cost of sale also match what we're striving for on our profitability. And then ultimately to look at our profitability and just make sure that we're hitting that profit first concept that we've preached for the last 5 years. And 2024, right. we got away from that.
Well, and I think P&L statements, bank accounts, like scales, mirrors, they're all the same thing. They just tell you things as they really are. And I think as an entrepreneur, we've been doing this now for 20 plus years. We're optimistic. And so it's just easy if you guys are in your business and you're going like, dude, I'm not making the money I should make, but I've got these so for us, 2025 is going to be the process of cutting out legacy culture projects. And we talked about that. So we had our operations meeting just right leading up to this. And it was like, there's some of our legacy things we've done that cost us money that in a market or running a business that isn't thriving, we're just like, all right, cool. We're just going to cut out some of these things. And like one hack we're making is if we have something that we believe in maintains our culture, and think about this, if our culture is not winning, then what are we trying to preserve? So why spend money to maintain a culture that's not winning, I guess is a theory. And so one of the things we do is next month, we're taking 20 people to Tahiti, which is awesome. Tahiti's great, but it's been a culture maintenance project for us. For the last 10 years, we've done these trips, cruises. We've gone to Mexico. We've gone to Hawaii. We've done Tahiti now twice. And today we just got really granular. And maybe you could speak to it a little bit, Taylor, on we've always done the incentive trip based on production numbers, but the number we've always ignored, probably not on purpose, but accidentally, is we ignored the rewarding of profitability. And so we did this thing where for retail agents, they had to do 26 transactions. What was it, Taylor?
20 for retail is 25.
25. All right. So the way we run our business, and some of you as business owners will appreciate this, some of you won't, we have a cost of doing business. So it's somewhere around 30 to 32%. We have, if an agent on our team closes a whole bunch of their self-sourced deals, we give our agents usually 80% on their self-sourced deals. So in theory, we lose 12% when an agent closes their own sphere of influence deal. We make it up in leads and probably in volume. Well, then we were like, well, we want to really incentivize deals going over to our investment company. So we're like, we're going to credit 6 transactions if somebody sends a deal to our investment company. Because we were thinking about the average, which is a $20,000 wholesale fee, $40,000 flip fee or whatever. And then we got into this where a couple of the agents were on the cusp. They sent some investment deals over. One of them, we got a $6,000 wholesale fee and we credited 6 transactions. And so it was there's just some of those principles that I'm excited to get back to. We haven't even really launched this with the team yet, but for any of our agents on our investment business or our retail team, their ability to earn the cruise or trip to Hawaii or whatever we're doing for 2025, it's going to be based on their core profitability. So let me ask you this, Taylor, you're just smarter than me and you get this stuff better than I do. why is it taking us so long to just get to where any of our incentives, any of our extracurricular cornhole tosses, car washes for production, incentives trips, like why is it taking us so long to base those off of profitability when that's what was kind of staring us in the face the whole time anyways?
Well, sadly, I think it's as simple as you and I we both love to travel. We both love to have fun. We're in the trenches every day of real estate, and we're grinding and we're solving problems and just working shoulder to shoulder with so many people that it's kind of nice to just think about the trip at the end of the year. And we came up with some metrics. We didn't put them into our calculators. We didn't examine and check everything to make sure the trip was actually being paid for by the production and by the profitability. I think we just looked at it and, it's something we're like, they closed 25 deals. They're a good agent. They're top, whatever, 5% in Vegas. They must have earned the trip. Let's go pay on our dime. And so I'm excited, now we can reward and we can actually celebrate. We can go to Tahiti next year, wherever we go, with people that are actually winning. And I think the two things that you spend is either money or you spend time to figure out to win. And I think you and I in the past year, we've gotten a little bit sloppy and we've been spending our money instead of spending our time to solve the problem. But now we're ready to just spend some time, get granular on it.
So I want to talk about entitlement. I want to talk about a couple of use cases where entitlement has really come back to bite us. And I want to talk about what I mean by entitlement. So I learned very early, my wife and I got married. I was doing real estate. She was working, for any of you guys who've ever been to Vegas, there's a casino and gas station company called Terrible Herbst. It's a weird name, but anyways, she was working for the Herbst family. And we were just a young married couple. I personally always felt like I wanted to be an attorney. I had some friends whose parents were like personal injury attorneys and they just crushed it. But I just didn't want to pay the price that attorneys pay to become an attorney. So I ended up choosing real estate.
Hey, Joe, you're frozen.
Huh. Can you still hear me though?
It looks like the hearing's super choppy. It's underwater sounding. Maybe it's better now. Let's see. There we go.
All right. Should be okay. All right. So 21 years old, 22, I'm married. My wife's working at a gas station, not at a gas station, but for the people that run the gas station. And so I chose real estate as a profession. And I remember the first really hurtful experience I had was my brother-in-law and sister-in-law bought so this is like 2002, 2003. We were getting ready to have Porter. And my brother-in-law went to an open house and the lady running the open house was like super cute. And he, I think, was just like smitten to some degree. And they bought like a $400,000 house with that lady. And she said, in order to buy this house, you also have to let me list your house. And so it was like a $400,000 buy. So 12,000 GCI there, and like a $200,000 sale. So another 6,000 GCI there. So, it was 600, it was like $18,000 in commission. In those dollars, adjusted for inflation, it was like $50,000, right? Like what it meant to me. And it took me forever to be able to look them in the face or even talk to them. And the thing that I wasn't willing to own up to at that time was I was not entitled at all to those deals. He didn't owe me anything. I thought because we were family, he just should have used me, even though I was really young in the business. I was not portraying confidence. I was not, taking him out to lunch. Like, hey man, if you ever end up doing real estate, I'd love to work with you. And here's why. I was not doing anything to earn the business. I was waiting to cash in on entitlement. And that thing came back to bite me so bad that now 20 years later, I still feel the sting of that. But I guess the gray hair and everything else has just taught me, like, dude, that was not their fault. It was your fault for feeling entitled. So Taylor, I've got another example I want to use, but for you, has there been any of those moments of where you can look back and go like, dude, entitlement really freaking came back to bite me here because I wasn't executing, I wasn't earning, I was feeling entitled.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I have a similar story, even more hurtful, if you can, than yours, because I was in the business, I think, probably a couple of years, and my own father out in Boulder City, he was, they were buying a new house out there, and I think it was like $300,000, and he did tell me about the house that they were buying, but he told me after it was already in contract, and they had like bought it with a listing agent, same thing, and it was. I mean, again, like there is when you think because he's my dad, because he's my brother-in-law, that I automatically get this sell. Like it's just not going to work that way. And that's what you and I always talk about. The reason we love real estate so much is because 95% of people in this business are not willing to get in and do the work. And so when you do, there's so much you can like build. There's so many deals to be done for the people that are willing to work, regardless of whether it's your own father or brother-in-law. Like if you're willing to do the work, there's so much out there.
Well, so we've talked about familial entitlement. Let me share with you a story. I see your dad. I'll raise you a dad. I'll share a story where I felt like success gave me entitlement. So maybe 2 years ago, my own father, your dad, my dad.
I hope our dad.
So I have listening to this. I hope my dad does watch this freaking thing. So, you and I are successful by every metric. You know, like both of us are kind of chain breakers. We both succeed like crazy amounts. What our family has historically done, even our own fathers. And like, no offense to them, but like I'm way more successful than my dad. Because of that success, though, I've got like a stepsister that is in real estate, but she doesn't do really anything. And so my dad was like, hey, I'm buying a new house with, my half sister, and I'm selling my house, and I'm going to let so-and-so do it because, like, I know you're really busy and you're successful and it'll mean more to her. And I was like, I felt entitled because of my success. I'm like, how freaking dare you? Like, why would you have someone who doesn't even know what they're doing choose to work with them when like I really know what I'm doing? But again, I've let family make me feel entitled to transactions, and I've let success make me feel entitled to transactions. And so in both instances, it's so easy for me to point at those family members and be upset when in reality, I have to figure out in 2025 how to earn the transactions, how to earn the relationships, because no one is going to give me anything. And I'll tell you, entitlement is even more dangerous in an ecosystem where every single real estate practitioner, every single would-be real estate investor has a advertising platform on their phone that's super easy. Like I can put on my phone right now and be like, hey guys, did you know, blah, blah, and I could just start spouting something off about investment opportunities. I could drive to a new home community center and be like, what's up guys? Every single day I'm out here getting people the best deals they've ever gotten on a brand new home in Las Vegas. So if you're thinking about buying a new home in Las Vegas, I will literally meet you anytime, anywhere, but right? And like I could create that piece of content. And so like my family relationships or my success that I feel like I'm entitled to those transactions in that business now is even harder because like back in the day, it was just sending people like UNLV basketball magnets and you would just hopefully get their business. Now it's like, man, there's so many more options. So before we get into some of the solutions for entitlement, let me share another story. So many real estate agents are in the business of agent attraction now. Like EXP existed for a long time. You and I never went to EXP. We did end up going to Real 3.5 years ago. And now you've got LPT and Epic and Fathom and whatever other companies are out there where there's this principle of agent attraction. And I'll tell you where I see entitlement almost more dangerous than in the traditional real estate transaction side of the business is in agent attraction. And we've had friends come not just to the same type of ecosystem. We've had friends come into this ecosystem in a sponsorship world that we were not a part of. And there are times where I'm like, dude, what? I thought we were homies. Like, what happened? And I felt entitled to a sponsorship relationship because of a pre-existing relationship. I think in this agent attraction world, we would all do very well to recognize that nobody owes us anything. I don't care if you shared an office at Century 21 and like you took the gold jacket Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and they took the gold jacket Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Like, it does not matter. The only value a pre-existing relationship gives you is a head start on earning the sponsorship, the transaction, the business relationship. So pre-existing relationships and success give you a head start, not an entitlement. So Taylor, what do you think about that concept? Like, if you have a pre-existing family relationship, if you have a track record of success, what type of advantage does that give you in earning the business if you are successful at removing entitlement?
That's a great question. Yeah, as you were talking about entitlement, I was asking myself, what is the silver bullet that would kill that like furry, scary wolf named entitlement? And I think the track record, the experience, all of that stuff is important. But it really, and I think what it leads to answer your question is, because an experienced agent has the tools, putting those tools into practice and coming up with, like, for me, it's all what actually keeps me safe and keeps me going and keeps me away from the entitlement trap is the metrics of doing the small, simple things every day. It's this prospecting, it's the follow-ups, it's the conversations to set appointments, to met appointments, to actually, getting new contracts that turn into escrows, that turn into closings. But it's the mathematics that keeps me, the algorithm to me to fight entitlement is doing those small and simple things every day and making sure that I never, to quote the great Brian Gurnick, to make sure that I never take a day off. Like, no days off. Yeah. Every day there's certain things that I know I have to do. And if I do them, I know that in 90 days from now, I will win. And I know if I do them for a year, I'm going to win big. And if I do them for the rest of my life, the wins will just keep stacking up.
No, I love that. And I would think, to me, the silver bullet I would toss out there to the world is, what would my world look like if every day I woke up and I tried to earn the love of my spouse? What if every day I woke up and I tried to earn the respect of my children? What if every day I woke up and I tried to earn the collaboration of my business partners? Like, what if every day I woke up and I tried to earn the trust of the agents that I work with, either on my team or in my network? Like, if I get sloppy in my marriage or business relationships, it's because I feel entitled. Like, there are times when, like, I feel like I married like she's just the most beautiful humans. Like, physically, she's gorgeous. She's spiritually dialed. She reads books and intellectually just challenging herself. You know what I mean? Like, and she's always working on exercising and working out and hiking, and like, she does all this stuff. And then there's times when I see her and I'm like, dude, she looks so beautiful. And then there's almost this gag reflex of like, well, we've been married for 20 something years. I don't have to tell her. And I'm like, you freaking idiot. Like, go tell her. And like, there's this, I think, guys, to kind of wrap this up, to start the new year, focus on earning the business, even with the people you have a head start on. Focus on earning the love of your spouse, earning the respect of your children, earning the respect of your business partners, because nobody owes me anything. Everybody is going to do what is best for them. And the only true way for me to succeed is to recognize that if I want relationships, I have to earn them. If I want respect, I have to earn it. If I want success, I have to earn it. So where entitlement can be a danger and a destroyer to our business, the recognition of the entitlement can be such a powerful principle that if you and I look at it and go like, dude, how do we earn this? Imagine what 2025 can become.
Mm.
So Taylor, what are some of your big goals for 2025 on the investment side of things? Like what, obviously we're not entitled to anything. We start from scratch every day on our investment business. Like what are some of your goals? What are you trying to accomplish?
I won't get into the number stuff, but I'll tell you, like the two main things. Number one is to be intentional at what we're doing. And I think it goes right along with what you're saying on entitlement, not to think because we've been in the business 20 years and we have a good name and a well-known brand, but to be very intentional on the activities that we as a team do every single day. And then number two is to run a true profit first business. We've already spent, 3 hours today looking at costs, expenses, people in the business, the way they're doing things, what we're paying them. So it's to be very intentional on our activities to make sure that those activities lead to a win. And then number two is to run a true profit first business and to know exactly where every penny's going and to know, if we're buying leads, are those leads converting? Are they converting at a 2x, 3x, 10x clip? If not, can we find better leads? But to be profitable from day one.
Give everybody a 20-second cliff note. So profit first comes from a book. What is the general principle of profit first?
It's kind of like what it says. Like when you close a deal, when you're a business owner, whether you're running a dry cleaning shop or selling watermelons from a fruit stand or selling houses, when you have a transaction, you pay yourself first. You pay yourself, whether it's 1% or 20%, you get the 1% first. Whatever's left over is what you use to run the business. And if there's not enough money to left over to pay your tax guy, then your tax guy gets cut and you find a new tax guy. If there's not enough money left over to buy toilet paper, then you use the newspapers in the bathroom. But it's the principle is very simple: is you get paid first before anything else does. Whatever money's left is what you use to run your business.
And why is that such a revolutionary principle? Because it sounds so simple, but what do people typically do? Mm-hmm. They typically try to create income, try to create money. They have costs that they hope to make more money than their costs. And then at the end of it, they hope that when it's all said and done, they've created some income. And so what Taylor's talking about is, like, imagine you're running your real estate team and you're like, dude, in 2024, we broke even. Well, moving into 2025, imagine a world in which you're like, I'm taking 5% off the top of every deal that closes and I'm paying myself. Now, how do those decisions, like what financial decisions are you going different? Like, do you really need the relationship management advisor for your real estate team that gets a cut of every deal? Do you really need 2 front desk people? Do you really need, right? And so you start going like, man, what are we paying for that's frivolous? Because now if $10,000 come in and you take 500 or 1,000 off the top purely as profit, now you have to make that deal make sense at $9,000. And so now margins get a little bit slimmer. And that's not, profit first isn't that's all you take. Hopefully you take much more. Hopefully when it's all said and done, like you're way more profitable. But I think, I love that, Taylor. I think 2 of the businesses I run, one of them will say broke even and the other was extremely profitable. And so then for me on the extremely profitable one, it's how do I wisely reinvest in that? And so it's interesting because we have businesses right now where we're like, man, we need to carve out more profitability. And then we have businesses where like, wow, the profitability is crazy on them, but how can we responsibly reinvest to create more profitability around it? So guys, happy 2025. This was an incredibly vulnerable and honest episode to start out with. But I'll just tell you, I believe while I've created with Taylor some great businesses, while I've created with my family or with my wife an amazing family, I do believe that the greatest progress killer in my life is entitlement. When I think my wife needs to love me because she chose me 25 years ago, when I think my kids need to respect me because I provide for them, when I think that Taylor needs to collaborate with me because we have LLCs together, like whenever in my world I live off of entitlement, it just ends up coming back to bite me. but I do find something refreshing about the principle of waking up every day and being like, dude, I'm going to earn my success. Nobody in 2025 owes me a dang thing. But if I'm, as Taylor said, if I'm systematic about it, if I do the little things to earn that success every single day, then I think 2025 is going to be a massive year for us. Thanks, guys.
I hope you're finding value in the content you've been consuming, and my goal is to earn your subscription. So subscribe down below so that you get notified when we drop new content every single week.